Good evening, welcome back to Going to Ground with me, Andrew Rumsey. And it's the most sumptuous spring evening here in Wiltshire with the trees and the hedgerows bridal with blossom just at the peak bursting forth of the new year. And I'm at one of my favourite spots in the county, which is St Michael's Church in Tidcombe. And we're going to have a look inside, but I wanted to show you outside first of all. I've posted from here once or twice before, I think, in the past, and there's a beautiful simplicity about Tidcombe Church and a mood within it that I find hard to beat, really. But I'm particularly wanted to show it to you because I'm playing here in a couple of weeks' time, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in due course. But because architecturally, it's really interesting, and like most historic churches, it is represents layer upon layer of additions and changes, so that you can't really say how old is this church for a historic parish church, because every century has brought new additions to it, and the fittings inside, and there are parts of the church that date back extraordinarily to Anglo-Saxon times. Some of the most straightforward ways of dating churches are from their windows, of course, often called the tracery of a church, if you've heard that term. And some of you will know far more about this than I, and some of you, like me, will be just beginning. And in the shape of the tracery, like this lancet window here, you can see from the nature of the arch which period it's likely to be from, although our dear ancestors, the Victorians, reproduced a lot of styles, and so sometimes it's hard to work out for the layman, certainly observer, which period it comes from. But this window behind me has a very characteristic style called an ogee shaped arch, and it's got that point at the top. Do you see the point and the curve at the top? Like, I always think like the nib of a fountain pen. Ogee pointed arch, that was the phrase I was looking for. And I found more of them around the north side here. Do you see? And that dates the church as from the decorated Gothic period, which, I'm going to get this all wrong, but round about 1260 to about 1340, 1350. And it was it's the middle of the three Gothic periods. You've got early English, decorated, and then perpendicular. There are different kind of subcategories of those periods as well. But decorated didn't last for long, but it was like the springtime, actually, of English medieval church design. It suddenly all proliferated with different kinds of shapes and ornate structures. And in the building of the church, the craftspeople who worked upon them were discovering how to bring lightness into church architecture, particularly in windows and carving stonework, so that higher degrees of ornate design were possible. So those ogee arches, you can see them around the building here. But look at the porch, and you might be able to see 1675 very clearly still in the brickwork over the north porch. So that was added on several centuries later. We'll go inside, and as I say, beautiful simplicity in St Michael's. Look at that. And I just want to show you the font which I wrote about in English Grounds, actually. There it is. Very simple design. It's one of my very favourite fonts in England, this. I'm going to come up close. It's so plain and simple, but it's thought to date from 850 AD. So they're deeply back into Anglo-Saxon England, and extraordinary, quite extraordinary to think of the hundreds, thousands of lives that have begun in that wonderful piece of stone, living stone indeed. And here we are into the chancel and into the sanctuary, as it's called, which is where the altar is and where communion is celebrated. And there's, in the corner here, what's called a piscina, set in to the wall, which is where the ablutions for communion, where the vessels are washed for the wine and the water and so on. And again, that's those began to appear in around the 13th century, and another different designs of window within the church. I'm not going to go into any more detail around them now, partly because I haven't got a great deal of knowledge to impart. But the beauty of this place is matched by the quality of the sound within it. And I've played here, I think, 3 times before, performed here. And it's always a highlight. And I'm back here on Saturday week. So 26th of April, I think that is. And performing early evening here at Tidcombe Church. And I'm going to be singing the songs from the new Collodion album, and all of the songs really originate in Wiltshire. They're not all about Wiltshire, but they're all written here, homegrown, as it were. And I can't wait to come in again and to do some readings and poems alongside the songs. So let me know if you'd like to come along, because there aren't that many tickets, I hope it'll be a fabulous evening. We've got 1 or 2 other dates coming up, which I'll tell you about in due course. So it's been a little while since I posted. Goodness me, it's been a busy week. I was at the cathedral on Monday night, giving a talk about songwriting and the book of Psalms, and how the Psalms have inspired some of my songs, and that was a huge privilege to do. And if you wanted to see the film of that lecture, it's on YouTube on the Salisbury Cathedral channel. Just if you're interested, it's an hour long, so it's quite takes a bit of endurance. But if you're interested in that theme, then check that out. I'll finish here and watch the sun go down in Tidcombe. But whatever you're doing, particularly at the start of the Holy Week before Easter, Palm Sunday this weekend, well, God bless you as you go to ground.